All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good
Okay,
evening,
ladies and
whatever
gentlemen,
time you're
good
watching this
afternoon,
video.
good morning,
Thank you
good
so much for
evening,
stopping by.
whatever
So,
time
my name
you
is Steve
are
Timm, and
viewing
I am
this.
a real estate
Welcome.
agent
My
with the
name
Holt
is
Real
Steve Timm,
Estate
and I
team
am
in
a real
Madison,
estate agent
Wisconsin.
from
And
Madison,
we primarily
Wisconsin,
focus on the
specifically
southern
with
half
the
of the
Holt,
state,
although
although we
we
do
team.
travel north
And
as
I just
well.
wanted
So,
to do
welcome to the
a
weekly recap for the
weekly
week of
recap for
June
the week
29th,
of June
2026
29th and into the third quarter.
2026
So,
and
with that being
into the
said,
third quarter.
let's
So,
get
with that being
right
said,
into it.
let's get into it. We're going to go ahead. We're going to start off with the buyer's market. So, just want to go over this with you. Rates dipped a bit to 6.5% right now for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So, what I'm seeing right now is a really balanced market, at least in my area. And for those of you that may be in real estate or maybe you've sold homes, I'd be really curious to see what your thoughts are on the market right now. So the market is balanced. Was, as you know, historically in the buyer's favor for the last few months. Then in some markets, it kind of ticked over to the seller. So it's interesting, but right now it's pretty balanced. So demand is holding, and inventory levels are improving in the market right now. And this is definitely in the buyer's favor. Again, we're going to go over that in a little bit more in depth a little later. Again, this is a leverage market, in my opinion, and not a timing market right now. Buyer's advantage has slipped a bit, okay? But with the inventory levels improving in multiple areas, buyers have gained a bit of what they lost in recent weeks. Some buyers are waiting out the market, so they have effectively left the market, leaving the existing listings on the seller's side open with less competition for the buyers who are still in the market. So basically what I'm seeing is the less serious buyers, kind of the looky-loos, the window shoppers and stuff like that, those guys have effectively left the market. There's still, of course, there's always going to be some of those around, but your more serious buyers are the ones that are in the market right now, which is actually great because if you're a serious buyer, that just means there's less competition for you. There's absolutely less competition, and you have more of a chance of getting your offer accepted. So here's the seller's market. Again, the market is relatively balanced right now. Buyers have a slight advantage, but it is more balanced than not. Again, historically for the last, I would say first and second quarter, in most of the second quarter, now we're heading into the third, most of the second quarter and the first quarter, definitely advantage buyer. As the second quarter kind of went on, I was seeing a lot of areas, at least in my market area, that had pockets of low inventory, thus pushing the needle over to the seller a little bit. As with the buyers, this is not a rate market. Again, that's my opinion. I'd love to hear what your opinion is right now. But it is a leverage market. And if you are in an area where inventory is low, as I say, you're in a good market to sell. That's excellent. Right now, I'm working with a listing that is in an area in Madison that has a 1.8 month supply of inventory, 1.6 to 1.8 month supply. That's really good in his zip code. So that's going to be really good. When that hits the market, I think that home is going to sell really well. So if your area is inventory heavy, though, you will need to put more effort forward and be more prepared than not in order to put your best foot forward. In either case, whether you have an inventory heavy market or if you have an inventory shortage in your market, as a seller, you always want to put your best foot forward. You want to put that coat of paint on. You maybe, if your appliances are getting older, maybe some of them may be out of service, you want to get those replaced. Want to fix the fixtures, make sure light switches and doorknobs all work, and those little touch-ups make a huge difference at the selling and the when your home hits the open market. So one thing for sellers is the window shopper buyer, again, as we covered in the last slide, has for the most part left the active market, and the serious buyer does remain. This is all the more reason, I would say, right now to get your home on the market now. Well, there is less competition from the buyers. Now, that may sound counterintuitive, but I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want people in my home that were just kind of, looking around, kind of like, what does this crazy realtor guy have in his house? And I don't want people like that coming through my home. I want people who are serious buyers. I want people walking through the home with their pre-approval, with proof of funds, or having the cash to close. That's the kind of buyers I personally would want my agent to target. So that is why I would say that's a good reason for sellers to get on the market. So it's going to be kind of a short presentation, and we'll get a couple more slides, but let's go to overview. So we're going to tie this up. As I mentioned, a balanced market sometimes does not last. And, first quarter, second quarter, definitely buyer's advantage with pockets of seller's advantage. Now, again, it is more balanced than not. So, but the sellers have sort of caught up to where the buyers were right now. It's still buyer advantage, but the seller isn't too far behind. Now, with the interesting things that are happening in the market, I am watching the jobs report and inflation data very closely, as well as other changes in the global headlines right now, because we've got the Fed rate, got the war in Iran, got the oil not being able to get through the Strait of Hormuz. So we're going to see how that all goes, because all of that does affect our business, that is real estate. So, and yeah, Fed policy is shaped by all of this, and will keep rates moving within a range. And again, this is my professional opinion as a realtor. They will keep rates moving within a range rather than going in a clear direction, indicating a clear trend. Again, just my opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts and your comments and what you see. If you disagree with that, feel free to push back. I'd love to have that conversation. So, and yeah, if you are thinking of getting into the market on the buy or sell side, I'd love to chat. If you're, of course, YouTube is a public forum, so I'm sure there's going to be people seeing this that don't live in Wisconsin. So if you have questions, or if you have any comments about the market, or want further information, I would be glad to help you. I have contacts in this industry all over the Midwest and on the East Coast and the West Coast, so I can always refer you out to somebody if you are not going to purchase or sell here in Wisconsin. But now, if you are in Wisconsin and watching this, please feel free to get a hold of me. I would love to chat with you and sit down with you and crunch the numbers, kind of figure out the math, and see if the maths, great. If the maths, either on the buy or sell side, perfect. It's still a good time to get out. So I would love to chat with you, and I'm going to go to my contact info. So again, it's relatively short presentation today, so this is my contact information. Email, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, and of course my phone number. So feel free to reach out. I'm on social media quite a bit. I have a pretty good online presence, and yeah, if you want to chat, or if you have questions, or want to debate the market, or whatever, so get in touch with me and let's chat. So any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I always look at the comments and I try to get back to people. So yeah, feel free to reach out on any of these platforms, and let's get the conversation started. So thanks so much for watching, and we will be back next week with the beginning of the third quarter recap. Thanks so much.